Hey, hey. Audio.
My God.
There we go.
Okay.
You
Okay.
just
Oh,
you like this.
okay.
Wah, I'm a mime. I'm a mime. I'm a mime.
God damn it. I'll say it's Super Saiyan back with Game of Dan. What's up, my man?
Pretty good. Pretty damn good. I'm actually playing Silk Song as we speak. God help me, I can't help myself. It's it's nice because I'm a big fan. I'm not a huge fan, but I'm a big fan of Hollow Knight. It's a beautiful, brilliant game, and I'm a huge fan of Metroidvanias. So I've been excited for this for a while. It's dropped. Everyone's playing it, and I can't avoid the damn spoilers on social media. It's all over my feed. So I'm just like, screw it. I'm gonna have to play this thing as soon as I can. I'm planning on doing more with it, but honestly, I just want to get it in my hands, and it's good. It's really good. It looks great. It plays beautifully, and it is such a rewarding experience to play something like this that's kind of flies in the face of the whole AAA, blah 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 blah, like big companies and all that jazz. This has been a really good year so far. To be fair, it's been just this period. It's been really great. This year we got some absolute bangers from smaller developers, Claire Obscura 33, Team Cherry, and we've got some pretty decent AAA games as well. I mean, hell, recently the Metal Gear Solid Delta dropped. That looks fantastic. We had Doom: The Dark Ages this year, and I'm looking forward to the new Silent Hill, which looks to be a
Nice.
step in the right direction. The last couple of games have been pretty a bit mid. So yeah, this is a pretty good year. This is a good year for gaming, and it's a good year for bigger companies getting shafted. We've larger companies have brought out games that have absolutely flopped, and smaller companies have stepped up and produced experiences that people want to play. So hopefully we see more of this trend. I don't want the developers to suffer, but I do. It just warms the small cockles of my heart every time a big company loses a lot of money.
Yeah, man. Angel gets the swings, the thing is, I think we had a discussion, everyone. Given I mentioned that this game was really made by three people, right? Looks like.
Yes, Team Cherry famously is a three-person development team. One person
Oh,
works on the coding, one person works on the art, the overall the overall direction. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. I mean, they're going to use acquired assets. They're going to outsource certain animations to other people. That no man is an island. Even three men aren't, and they're not going to do it alone.
even
You
with
know,
AI.
but yeah, they're going to have outside help with this. It's
Mm.
not them doing absolutely everything, but they are the core team. They are the ones making the decisions. They are the ones purchasing, assets and using them effectively. And as Stephanie Serling, as the Jimquisition once said, talent is an asset. So using pre-purchased assets isn't a problem for developers if you're using those assets to create your own game. You're not just buying them wholesale and slapping them into a thing and selling it. That's an asset flip. That's why we've got a whole deluge of garbage on the shops these days, because people just
Mm.
buy stuff and then sell it piecemeal without changing anything. But no company's going to make every coding. You're not going to code every single thing yourself. But you're the ones making the decisions. You're the ones deciding how this works, why this works, testing it yourself. Bravo. And it's great. I'm very, very happy with the game. I'm very happy with how it's played out. It's just it's a good time to be a gamer, man. I'm in a really good mood. Drop of a great game, the feeling of excitement, of community. I, it is
I mean,
good. It is good. And I got one other
yeah.
thing that's I'm very excited with. I want to talk about it, but first, how you doing?
Oh, me, I'm great. And you guys know, by the way, Emmett, and just in case, could you pin us both up just in case? I forgot
Sure,
pinning.
sure, sure. Do
Yeah.
apologize.
Um,
Yep, pin
yes, cool.
and
It's fine. And
woo.
I was gonna say,
Pin.
people,
There we go.
you know that we're getting ready for the game show in Tokyo. And funny,
Hmm.
we have a of course, we thank goodness we have a few friends who've been there, like Saja, you've seen. But the main dude who's responsible for us getting there, so at the time that we could, Gabriel. It's funny because he's mentioned he's in dealings with AAA developers, and it's funny because he's right now he's one of those not gatekeepers. He's dealing with the gatekeepers, but also he's representing the indie. So if you look at the game, Endless Chase and whatever, it's got that indie vibe, well, for me at least. And
No, it's got a much bigger feel to it.
it was yeah. I'm looking at the style of the graphical, the character design. Maybe it's because of the way the graphics look at this point, because the game is actually going to develop a lot more people, which will show you. But
Mm.
yeah, you're actually it's oh well, I can't kid. But that being
Well,
said,
it's
the game
interesting
is
because a lot of indie games, there's a almost a new genre, a new feel of indie games that are a little bit bigger, a little bit more bolder. They're making some big swings. Some of them
mm,
pretty good. If you go back on our channel and look at some of
mm,
my earlier demos that I play for the next fests that occur. There's a couple of some pretty big feeling, pretty AAA feeling, smaller games that they're almost wearing the garb of AAA, but they are
mm,
smaller experiences. And I know our erstwhile friend Gabriel's game, Endless
mm,
Corridors,
mm,
it's got a bold vision, bold image. So
mm.
if you saw it, you wouldn't initially think it was an indie. You might think
Yes,
it came from a bigger studio.
yes,
Um,
sure. Yeah, it's too
it's
big.
not a pro nor a con. It's just an
What it
observation.
is. Yeah, and yeah. That being said, I was just thinking. I wonder what people like Gabriel could contribute to the industry going forward. It's funny because with what AI is allowing us to do, and by the way, people, I'm just saying, in case you forgot, I'm a coder myself. I've been killing
Mm.
myself the past few days just doing dumb projects like this that never ends. But anyway, I'm nearly done. But that being said, when you have AI to give you assistance, that won't be GPT. I mean, if I had it during college, it would have helped a lot. But it is not the answer to all problems because if you don't know how to do what you're doing without AI, you will you will find yourself in an endless loop where you're saying, "Oh, solve this for me, solve this for me," and then it doesn't know, it doesn't care, for goodness sake. And if you fail, you certainly won't care. You've got a limited life, and it will just live on like a textbook, just sitting there minding its own business. And ultimately, with all the one man island attempts that we have right now with the advent of AI and development of games, which we're going to check out at the game show in the academic area. Um, excuse me. You still you're in a place where you're reaching a place where you're starting to well, me at least, starting to appreciate the value of human contribution, the talent, the aspect of that a part of the development process. So we have um again we have games like Silk. Um, sorry, let me play the Silk. Oh, sorry, oh my god, I call it Silk
Silk
Road.
Song.
Yeah, so Silk Song, yeah, Silk Road. Anyway, but give us Silk Song that are made by three people, and I'm sure they've used AI to give them assistance, but it'll it'll drive me crazy if you just try and put a whole game on AI over. And if you make it all about AI, you'll probably feel sick. There's something about AI that gives this uncanny valley sick response. But you need that human touch, and AAA titles, I mean, game companies like Nintendo that gave us full hope when the game crash came along, when everybody was just throwing games in the market and to the point it became saturated, and then the company like Nintendo came along and said, "Hey, we're a proper game company, and we're gonna give you a set standard, and you can expect quality from us." After a while, now you've got yourself Bowser from EA bringing you the overpriced nonsense with no. I mean, I'm talking about the non-innovative sequels, which relatively non-innovative compared to the complete differences that we've got in gameplay experiences per platform prior generations, and very few titles, and not only all these other things that the consumer things that are winding people up, and you're left with indie people to turn to, and they're producing good results. So we keep it like Gabriel. I wonder what. I'm just for the best. I'm hoping that we get either the AAA industry get a kick up their pants, or I don't know. I mean, what's going to happen is the market's going to dictate what happens in the end. And of
Yes.
course, you get AAA people trying to stymie it out, just trying to get in there, trying to scupper people's efforts. But if they try and scupper indie developers too much, they'll crash the industry again, just like before in the video game crash. Where nobody wants their work, and then nobody can get the indie work, and then we just have some sort of a prohibition, underground, bootlegged thing going
Yeah,
on.
it's. I love that quote from Dark Knight. You either die a hero or you see yourself become the villain. And I think EA is a great example of that because EA started with a truly noble experience and a truly noble intention. You know,
Mhm.
when they first became an entity and producing material, they named themselves EA based upon a mission ethos that was that we believe in games. We believe this is an art form.
Mm.
You know, we believe that this is a way to connect with people across generational barriers, across global barriers. We can connect using these experiences. And I love that, you know. They did a one-page spread, an advert by EA saying, hey, we are in this together. We want to reach you. You reach us. We will create these places that we can all share together. We are making electronic art. EA. And I think they started off with truly noble intentions. Lots of companies did. They had a great idea. They had people who started it off, and then they just got too big. They made too much money. They were too successful. They were destroyed by their own success, which is all too common. They got
Mm.
bigger and bigger and bigger, and the amount of money they made is frankly staggering. But then, in part, they also hired so many more people, which means they need a whole ton of money just to keep themselves above water. EA's overall costs are probably staggering. I can't even comprehend that. So
Yeah.
yeah, big companies need a lot of revenue to survive, but once the revenue becomes the goal rather than the art, that's when they lose themselves. But at some point, there's so many working gears that they can't. There's no core vision. The great thing about, or what I personally enjoy about indie teams is that they are still small, lithe, hungry, but they are cohesive in a way that a large company just can't be. A big large company can have a mission statement or something, but it's an enormous entity with multiple departments all functioning semi cooperatively, but also their own paces and organizations, and managing all that is just cumbersome.
Mm.
Now, that's not to say that they're inherently worse. Obviously, with more resources, you can produce larger and bigger games. You can produce a lot more games. EA and Activision, Ubisoft, these big companies are able to produce brilliant games and lots of them. But they, we've just seen so many anti-consumer practices from them. They reach a certain point and then it just becomes about dollar, dollar, dollar.
Mm.
It's sad, but you know, it's a natural progression. And
Mm.
that's not to say that we should cap them. We should let them run their course. They became big because they were small once. They produced great games with great IP that we loved. You know, they're the one that we bought their games. We liked their games. We supported them. That's how they became AAA. They didn't start that way. We, the consumer, made them AAA. But that does mean that they hoisted by their own petard. They've got that albatross across their own. They put the albatross on their own neck, and it's killing them. Yo,
Dude,
that's just the free market working as it's supposed to do. If you don't produce the thing that the consumers want, we'll go elsewhere. And it's nice to be reassured that yeah, your Stardew Valleys, your small indie, Utopia Foxes,
mm. Mm.
Five Nights from Freddy's. Well, there are people out there producing other experiences that don't have the bloat and truly predatory practices that
Oh.
large companies do, and we can stand by them.
Mm.
I but it's interesting because we've talked a great deal over the years about how gaming is like is a part of identity. Like,
Mm.
I am a gamer. Exactly. You know, like,
Mhm.
whether Super say shirt, dude, I am an anime guy. I am an anime guy. It's a part of my identity. I've internalized the concepts and the culture around it so much that I know the vernacular. I can talk with the in group. I can connect with people across great distances or even time in different generations through this connection because I am part of this group and you are part of this group. So, boom, we are part of this group.
Yeah.
But we should also be the most vocal challengers of it. We should be the most vocal critics because this is our group, and we
Right.
have to hold bad faith actors within our collective to the fire. We have to hold them accountable, and people who sycophant and kind of fanboy out for their own games. I get it. I started this video drooling about Silk Song. I was playing it. I was just trying to find a save point so I could put it down and start talking because I want to play it. Playing it makes me
Yeah.
happy. But you got to be realistic. We got to be tough on these companies because we
Yeah,
want the
man.
best from them, and them getting too big for their britches isn't good for us. And then ultimately, it's not good for them because they become so big that they fail.
Yeah, dude, that is a fantastic summary. In fact, if I just say one little point before you bring up the media that we'll discuss today. Yeah, if I was to, like I said, in fact, I said before we started, guys. Elon Musk, politics aside, there's something to be said for the ever curious mindset of going into uncomfortable positions. Like when you get to a certain point, get so much money, whatever, you could be like Mark Zuckerberg trying to bring up Xverse, which is like pretty practically holographic technology, which is eye-rolling to me. I mean, in terms of why are you trying to anyway, I mean, I'll explain my issue in a moment, but you you're dealing with when you're dealing with an industry that is driven by inspiration and evolution, of the inspiration into where can we go from here, where can we go from here. It's good to just keep following that trail and not be too scared where it takes you because at some point, a bit like Full Sail in Dragon Ball, the all the stuff that you're worried about that what it could possibly become will eventually face you. So you might as well rise to meet the challenge. And yeah, and speaking of for example, there's a hotline moment that I'm sure many of you have heard by now. Putin, President Putin, cheating thing, and Kim Jong Un. Apparently, they're called the hotline talking about let's live forever. I was like, so I'm thinking that conversation Bond villain esque as it looks. Look, it's so like to me. I'm like, yeah, I think that encapsulates the issue people have with technology. The
Where is
whole issue.
Bond when you need him? Just to
Yeah, exactly. So the issue with all this malarkey is that people are trying to. Oh my gosh! Like there's an episode in Dragon Ball called the uh, Goku went into this place that was like a illusory world in the darkness, where he was fooled into thinking that he was back in his home called Kame House, and these doppelgangers that were supposed to be his friends, and if you stay here, you can have perpetual existence. And it was like it's the difference between that
oh, was that
and
the
then
filler episode when he was traveling to Namek?
oh no, that's Dragon Ball before Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, in
The
Dragon Ball. Ah, oh
yeah.
yes. Okay.
And he when you saw that he could yeah, but that was like a reference to the whole trapped in this
Illusionary thing.
yeah illusion world and yeah perpetual existence compared in comparison to eternal life. The trick to being useful and living on having not just a legacy to leave behind but to actually have a life worth living is to have the humility to pass on what you have to the next generation. There's going to be a next generation, and if AI is just there to keep the elites in position forever, they'll still stale. Just like the cells of the body that they keep it trying to jump into, like a possessing people or body snatching style, will eventually just degrade, and it'll just be like, what was that all for? I could have just if he's humble enough to say, all right, the scene has changed. Now the indie, in this case, this now using this analogy, now the indie developers seem to have more pulse on what the people want. Let's let them. lead the way and not try and stifle them anymore. Instead of just trying to say, hey, listen, we're AAA titles, you love us, we're gonna jack up our prices to keep us all sticking around and being in your way.
Yeah.
If they just had humility, I think he would
It's
live
interesting that
on
you
forever.
tie that to the Bond villains look great quote. I like that.
Mhm.
They wanted to be live forever because um, yeah, we all want, no one wants to die. Everyone wants to do well, and largely the best, the most auspicious life to live is grandfather dies, father dies, son dies. That's cruel. There's an old Zen parable of a monk. A rich man goes to a monk and asks for a beautiful like tapestry. He wants a saying written on his wall to show off to his friends. Monk writes, "Grandfather dies, father dies, son dies." And the rich man goes, "That's terrible. Why would I put this on my wall?" And the monk says, "Because that's the kindest thing to happen. What greater pain is there than a parent burying their child? And everything's impermanent. We all die. So everything in its place, everything has its time. The grandfather should die first, then the father, and then the son, because that's the way it's supposed to be. We do pass these things along, and nobody lives forever." And yeah, seeing these people who have taken so much and reached just staggering, like incalculable amounts of power and wealth.
Mhm.
People who run countries, have funneled so much of that wealth to themselves. Talking about, stealing organs and biotech to make them live forever. That's cartoonish level. It's Saturday morning cartoon. I mean, where the fuck? I always imagine Mum Ra next to them going, "I have a plan."
I
you
know.
know. Um,
Why? Why?
yeah, sorry, that was a Thundercats reference. Just throwing it out there. If you got that, yeah, that was for you specifically.
I grew up on that stuff, man.
Yeah. Um,
Oh.
but it is difficult to monetize an art.
Mhm.
And we've said before, video games are not so much an industry, but they are an art form. These are
Mhm.
interactive experiences like movies and novels. And as much as you want to make them authentic, engaging, the best experiences for the consumer, for the people who want to have these things, we have to monetize them. People got to get paid. We've got to support the developers, which means that they need a paycheck. They have families to support. They have bills to pay. They have health insurance.
Mhm.
These are things that concessions and that need to be considered, and that's the problem with success. Is that once they do start getting that kind of money and they start expanding outwards, there's infinitely more people they have to pay. Like Triple A's, they're throwing hundreds of people at these projects, and then they have to pay for them all, and they deserve to be paid for. These are
Yeah.
hard workers who deserve to be paid for, which means that the company has to make this much money. But
Mm.
them going down a cynical, money grubbing, penny pinching route, it's a logical step when you've got so many mouths to feed. It's just antithetical to the success that they built themselves on. They built themselves on these authentic experiences, crafting great IPs, great games that people love, and then they break these games to make more money because they need to afford making these games. It's ascend first. It's the donkey before the cart before the donkey, man. Make a great game, and the money will come. And we can see it from the indie market. The indie market
Yeah.
is such a great example that you don't need to be big. You don't need the art, the graphics. You just need to consider what you're producing. Craft an authentic experience, and it can, it'll pay itself off. Hell, yeah, was it this year or end of last year? No, I think it was this year. Black Myth Wukong came out. Now that is a AAA experience in my book. That is a beautiful, engaging, in deep, real third-party experience from China, out of the Chinese company. But it isn't a big company. They've been working on it a while, And yeah, there was a decent-sized group working on it, but it wasn't like the bloke that we see. I mean, let me just double check. Black Myth
Mhm.
Wukong. Black Myth Wukong. Development. Development. Yeah, it only cost them 40 million.
Bloody hell.
40 million with how many workers? Development team. Yeah, the Black Myth Wukong team. It sold 20 million in its first month, so it made its money back. Boom! Straight off the bat, that thing was paid off. Gameplay synopsis, plot development, the team. Yeah, it's a smaller team. You know, they had to work. They worked on it for a while. They went through a lot of different incarnations. It went through like 2 generations of Unreal Engine. They were working on it so long that they went from pre-alpha. Pre-alpha was 2020, 5 years. So you can make AAA experiences with smaller budgets. Just budget well. Don't rush it out. It's releasing a game a year. Don't do that. Just budget wisely, plan ahead, plan for a longer development cycle, give yourself time to make mistakes or make changes. Especially when changes occur, especially in an industry that's so volatile. And I don't mean volatile as in the industry's volatile. I mean like it's a technological industry. We rely on the tech to code and build and program and everything. And it's constantly evolving. There's new advancements coming out. I mean, these guys went through two incarnations of Unreal Engine. They had to adapt themselves to the new tech to take advantage of what's available. So you got to allow for these things. You can't pump games out quickly. It's like producing a film a year. Buddy, those films aren't going to be great. But give it time and let them cook. Let them cook. But that's a large investment, not just of time but of money. You're going to pay these people. So
long time.
Look, I will always fall on the side of the developer. I will always fall on the side of an authentic game experience. Don't sell me a blockbuster. Sell me a primary gameplay loop. When I play your game, what am I doing? And is it engaging? Is it a shooter? Okay, great. Craft an environment where I can shoot the shit out of a bunch of things and enjoy myself. Team Cherry is just a beautiful world I can slowly but surely unpick, like pulling at a knot. And oh my god, how satisfying is that? You're giant. That's what I love about Metroidvanias. They aren't big games. They're just really, really deep because you're going back over the same environments and then peeling back the layers. Like, oh, the same place, but oh, now I can travel in this direction.
Yeah.
Now I can get to that place, and that takes time. It's hard to craft these things, but it isn't like demanding digitally. There's not a lot of coding needed.
I feel you. Yeah, you know what? Oh my god. Okay, there's a clothing brand called Bathing Ape. Bathing Ape, have you heard of that? Or Babe.
No.
It's a hip hop brand. Pharrell Williams is promoting it. And there's rapper my bro. We love him called Rip Slime. Maybe you've never heard of this rapper, Japanese rap. I'm really into.
I've heard of Rip Taylor, the guy. No, I haven't heard that one. Sorry.
But still, a lot of the 10 years ago now, maybe 10 years. Maybe 10 years ago, there was a popular hip hop clothing brand called Bathing Ape. And artists like Pharrell, Kanye West, and some other people, even Drake, of course, they were promoting it all over the place. And it was like a luxury brand. So it's super expensive. Me and the missus went to a store the other day, and I finally found the clothes there is really hard to get, but it was like super expensive. Like sneakers, let's just say this is like 3 times the price or something. But people wore it just to say that I have it, you don't. And it was very popular. But after a while, people can't afford it. You just feel like, okay. So what the man who made it, Nigo, who made a rap group called the Teriyaki Boys. Anyway, he did a clever little plan to stay in business. He secretly funded fake knockoff brands. In fact, he made his own fake knockoff company that was making it for cheaper prices. People didn't know that he made it. So the people buying the fakes, saying I got me some fakes, and then he was actually funding it, and then he managed to stay in business that way. Although eventually, I think the brand kind of collaborated with another company. It's like Beats by Dre now, which is like Apple. So the trick is, I'm thinking, if some of these AAA companies are simply just out of touch and they just need the money, or maybe they're doing it already. Maybe the answer is to just secretly uh, scalp these. No, what else? Yeah, scalp these indies. Or, but is that unethical? What do you think of that?
Yeah, they're kind of doing that already. I mean, we see it
You
all
know,
the time. And whenever a game becomes crazy popular, we always see like a slew of imitators. Oh, this is a new thing. Okay, Balatro came out with the card game thing, and that came out after Attack the Spire. We have seen a whole bunch of card-based games because a few of them did really, really well. They came out with this clever, using cards as the gameplay mechanic, but in an interesting and narratively engaging way. People were on board. Yo, we got it. They created a new hook, or at least they reintroduced an old hook, but we're seeing a bunch of imitators. But
mm,
I think we see something like that, but in the worst form of it. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the term Unicronic arts. Unicron being the Transformer demon,
oh
essentially, the
yes,
dude who goes around eating other planets. And
mm,
EA is Unicronic Arts because they have a long history of buying companies, bringing them out, producing gradually inferior versions of their original IP, and then just closing the studio.
yeah.
They
These
Smaller
are
studios produce great games. Like Bullfrog had Dungeon Keeper. Who were the ones who did Westview, West Point did Command and Conquer.
mm,
And then these were popular games by smaller companies. EA bought them and took the properties, the wealth that comes from those popular games, and
mm.
then just
Right now, everybody.
rang them out.
Bloody.
EA company
Yeah, I think Microsoft has
uh,
been guilty of doing the same thing at some point.
closing
There we go.
news images. EA Unicron Unicron.
And then they leave you a eunuch. That's the other part of the equation. And
Yeah,
then
I'm trying to find a list of all the studios EA closed. Here we are. Quick share.
yes, this please.
Boom. Image.
Did you hear?
Share.
Okay, there you go. Got it.
Yeah, here's a few of them.
Oh,
Westwood Studios, beloved for Command and Conquer, Visceral for Dead Space, Mythic for Camelot, Salt Lake, Danger Close, Pandemic, Syndicate, Wing Commander, Ultima, Dungeon Keeper, Bullfrog, Maxis, Mayfish. But yeah, all of these companies just got bought up and chewed out by EA, and that's how they try and stay themselves relevant. They buy companies that are popular with popular games and just take reap the benefits themselves. But it's just in a negative way of doing it. It's brutal. Instead of producing good games, they just buy out the competition.
damn. This is
Damn
fun.
shame, but yeah, I think there's nothing we can do because it's just the way it's the industry itself. But there are steps being taken. I mean, look at the Stop Piracy campaign.
Mm,
That's a difficult sell if you're on the side of the developers. But if you're on the side of
exactly.
the consumers, it's very, very pro because it's forcing developers to build in post-life options. When you make a game and people like that game, We want to be able to continue to play it after you stop official support. The official
Mm.
support is costing you money and time and upkeep. But we like this game. I bought this game and I have the right to play it even after you don't want to support it. That's there is a debate there. I stand on the side of the consumer,
Yeah.
but it is important that game developers are given the resources to build these end of life, these post life support engines into it, allowing gamers to take the source code and create private service. If they're willing, if the consumer are willing to foot the bill, then the company has no reason to stop them. You don't get to take the game away from us because you've decided that you're going to stop support.
They
Yeah,
need to
we
see.
bought a game. It's
They
our
need to see
game.
that. Absolutely. This is the equivalent of having a child and not being jealous of your child. It's like, "Hey, I'm dad, no. If you just say this is something I can't control about, people want to play a game this way, let it become something. If they keep trying to, these companies, even Nintendo, of course, Nintendo's going to say, you trying to clamp down on these people trying to find ways to still enjoy something that is becoming increasingly stifled. And if they just stop being so anal, then they'll just get people to they'll reveal to Nintendo the new secret source, the way to win the public back. Whatever's going on now, Nintendo, I think it's like with a lot of people, like Elon and the suits that people are doing. I think it's not stupid. They know that something they do turn off the public. But I think that they may be thinking down the line. It's like Slurms in remember Futurama. We'll bring back Slurms Classic and make millions. But people hate what we're doing at the moment. So I
Yeah.
got a feeling that they're probably betting against themselves at the moment. They know this is not going to work. I mean, they're not stupid. I mean, unless yes, they may very well be la 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 la. I can't hear you. But at the same time, they may just be saying, you know what, let's make money on the downtrend as well. And a bit like I was saying with the guy who was selling his own fake merchandise. Um, I guess, I mean, hey, this is why we're going to the Tokyo Game Show, people. I want to look at things from all angles because these game show, we're going to see these people, the AAA dudes who are actually trying to shape the market and the people who are trying to counteract that. And then I'm
Just
looking at that.
carve out a little niche. There are a lot of
Yeah.
people who are just trying to find a place in that market. There is enough to go around,
Mm,
but the bigger you get, the more it's going to cost, and the more market share you take. The harder no, the higher the prices it is to sustain yourself. It's it's an interesting environment. It's a great pastime. It's a wonderful medium, but we have seen domination of like publishing houses for so long. It is reassuring to occasionally see. We're seeing it more and more. I feel like the indie games, smaller access, the smaller companies are making larger and larger headway. People are turning away from AAA because they're just not being satisfied. Whereas it's getting easier and easier for people to create games, to
mm,
have their ideas put to ground. And yeah, I support that.
mm.
I mean, when Hollow Knight first came out by Team Cherry, it didn't even make the front page of any things. It was in the back. It was just like a tiny studio with a tiny project. But it was an earnest game. It was a good game. People picked it up, went, "What's this? Oh, this is great!" And then word of mouth spread, and then it snowballed, and it became this all impressive game of the year contender
Mm.
because they made a good product. They made a good product, and we've talked about the companies do this and the companies should do this. But honestly, make a good product, build it,
Mm.
and they will come.
This
And
is
I think sometimes it's frustrating to see the companies we loved failures because they're focusing on so much and not the product. Right, we're going to
well,
put a
yeah.
pin in this for now. Thank you for joining us on this little ramble. We'll put your thoughts in the comments below. And next week we'll be talking a little bit about the game show again. But man, 2 weeks, baby.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and
Woo!
boom, we are on it. All right,
Yeah, mate.
peace.
Peace.